Hi guys, so today we got a lot to do. Today's video we're going to get into some main terminology that most people use when they're looking for seeds or trying to read their seed packs and when they're buying bulbs. We're going to explain what annual perennial is, what GMO means, what heirloom means, and how to read your seed packs. So let's go into the easy things first. I have a checklist in front of me because it's been a hectic day. If anybody knows me, I have little people in my house that believe that I don't have a life. So here we go. Annuals. Definition of annual, just simply, it's something that grows once and doesn't come back. That's it. Most plants are annuals, but then you have some exceptions depending on what zone you're in. Perennials. Perennials are something that grows back after a year. Most flowers are, trees are perennials. Some fruit bushes are perennials. Now you do have an exception, which is like on a borderline, like elephant ears. In my zone, which is 8A, 8B, we can leave ours in the ground and they'll do just fine. They'll come back. But in like zone 5A, which is around Chicago, a lot of people who I know up there will dig up their elephant ears for the year, so then the bulbs won't freeze and rot out. So, exception, but find what zone you're in. And that's the next terminology, zoning. Your growing zone will give you the best chance on how to pick your seeds, what variety of seeds to pick, because there are thousands of seeds that go and grow in different places better. For my people who are in Chicago, you are zone 5A if I'm not mistaken, which means it can get down to -10, -15, and we all know that lake effect weather does that. So you have to pick a lot of cold hardy seeds for you that does best, which are like crops, collards, turnips, radishes, some onions, some garlic. Anything that grows in the ground, you'll do just fine. Above ground, find short-term varieties, determinate tomatoes, some hot peppers, because it is known to get extremely hot up there some summers. With your beans, try not to too much do pole climbing beans. In my opinion, I say bush variety. You get the most out of your short growing season. Look at your farmer's almanac and get an estimate on how it's going to go. But the way the weather has been going these last couple of years, you just really have to pray about it. You were really going into this blindly. Next terminology, heirloom and GMO seeds. GMO means genetically modified organisms, which means if I want a certain fruit or vegetable to look a certain way, I'm going to take it in a lab and I'm going to mess with its DNA until I get what I want. That's the easiest way for me to put it. Heirloom, it means that you're going to get, no matter how many times you plant this seed or variety, you're going to get the same results every year. Now, with that being said, there are exceptions as well. I am a person who loves to experiment, especially with my squash plants. If I know I have a certain type of zucchini, but I want it to have the same crooked neck as a crooked neck yellow zucchini, if I cross-pollinate it, I'm not doing GMO because I'm not taking it into a lab. I'm not messing with its DNA. I'm letting it happen naturally, because it would happen naturally, because it's what is called, heirlooms are open pollinators, which means it's left up to nature to do exactly what it's supposed to do. Just my opinion on how I'm taking this. This is how I interpret. Also, don't get frustrated when you're going into the big box stores. A lot of the times they mislabel their product. Definitely mislabel their product. Make sure you double check and read the packs. With that being said, as far as reading the packs, let me move my little book to the side. When reading seed packs, some are more harder to read than others. Let me scoot closer, please. So the seed people who I use are Burpee, and their seed packs look like this. America Seed Company, which comes from Dollar Tree. They've been in business a long time. One of my favorite, M.I. Gardner. and everybody's favorite, Baker's Creek. Now, oh, also Baker's Creek heirlooms, they look like this as well. So they have two different types of seed packs. So with Baker's Creek, we're going to start with the hardest one. I think it's the hardest one for some people, not anybody else, because of the fact they give no illustrations. Some people learn different, and I say try to get to everybody's level, no matter what it is, whether at the highest level or the lowest level. They mostly have words, no pictures, no graphs to help, so it naturally does or needs more research. But most people who deal with this seed company will pretty much already know what they're doing. The next one is M.I. Gardner. Now with with M.I. Gardner and Baker's Creek, they sell heirloom varieties majority, which means that they take the time to grow and they naturally save their seeds themselves. Like you can go to these places because they have farms where you can go actually see them do this. So they're definitely, good to go. But with M.I. Gardner seed packs, I don't know if you can see this clear or not. Don't mind my nails. It's that time. They have a little bar graph here. I don't know if you can see it clearly. Just pray with me. It's numbers that go across, and it gives you a start date, and it tells you don't plant out until like after your last frost date unless you're starting indoors. It gives you days to germinate, days to maturity, and then plant spacing. Now, all of this is not, it's a science, but it's not an exact science. Like I wouldn't put my life on it. It's give or take depending on what zone you're in and how you're gardening. If you're commercial gardening, then yes, the spacing is fine. If you're square foot gardening, which is raised garden beds gardening, you can put some stuff close. I have. If you're pot gardening, you can put some stuff close. Everything can't be put close, or you're not going to get the big, like cabbage heads or big lettuces. Do in moderation is what I say. Give something its growth space. Now with Burpee, theirs is on the front of theirs. Theirs is as simple as well. It tells you on this one, but how deep to plant them, what, depending on the type of variety, is something called thinning. For a lot of people who are sensitive, thinning is going to hurt you. I'm not going to lie, my first year I cried. Because there are live plants and you don't want to thin them out, but a lot of plants, in order for them to get what you want, you have to, in one sense, you have to chop off their hair because you pinch their little heads off. It's all bad. It tells you how many days to germination and how many days to harvest. Now, days from germination to harvest. Let's get this correct. Some plants take a lot longer to germinate depending on the temperature of your soil. Most root vegetables, the main productivity temperature is anywhere between 57 degrees Fahrenheit and 65 will get them to germinate very well. Now, when it comes to summer varieties, especially like peppers, peppers like it hot. I can tell you that. The hotter the pepper, the hotter the soil has to be and the hotter the temperature. That's how I do it. Hot peppers like hot weather. Mild peppers are somewhere in between like the 80, 85 range. My ghost peppers and everything, they love it when it gets past 90 here, so temperature. Now, the easiest seed pack to read to me is also the cheapest seed pack to read at 25 cents from Dollar Tree. This one has, not only does it have a graph, words, it also has a map, which also gives you months that you should be able to plant your seeds in, which helps. I've had so many people read this correctly. Like, I have little children that read this one better than this one, than the Burpee. These are 3 ways for you to sit up here and understand it from a graph point of view, from reading, and also picture. Now, if just so happen you are sight impaired, I have to look into Braille for you. That's not being funny, but it's being truthful. We haven't really got up there yet. We're trying, people. We're trying. So, I think that's pretty much it for this one. I am exhausted, you guys. This is like the second video I have done today. And I'm just happy no children came in the room. So, as usual, I want to thank you all for your support, for listening to me rant and rave about something that I'm so passionate about. And just thank you. As always, have a humble spirit and a garden mind.